101, Glenn Beck tonight at 7. Only on Denver's talk station, 630 KHOW. This is the Ross Kaminsky Show. Now, Ross Kaminsky on Denver's talk station, 630 KHOW.
Frequently on this show, I talk about Frederic Bastiat, a brilliant early 19th century French economist, died in 1850, I believe. And one of my favorite things that he ever wrote is an essay called That Which Is Seen and That Which Is Not Seen. And among the geeky Bastiat-following crowd, such as myself, that essay is known by its acronym TWISA Twins, T-W-I-S-A, T-W-I-N-S, T-W-I-S-A Twins. So if you go online and just type in TWISA Twins, you will find Frederic Bastiat's essay for free online, That Which Is Seen and That Which Is Not Seen. And in fact, I think I'm going to do that right now because it's funny. You type in TWISA into Google and they're autocomplete. This TWISA Twins is the first thing that comes up. And over at bastiat.org, you can find the link and just read it. And I want to share a little of this with you and tie it into something that's going on right now and tie it into why the world, the Twitter sphere in particular, went into such a frenzy the other day when Michelle Obama was speaking at some big event and dropped the S word while she was speaking at the audience. And in fact, I've got to say, the stuff that Michelle Obama was talking about, I basically agree with her on, but we need to start with the underlying premise here of Bastiat, because this applies in so many things, although Bastiat generally talks about economics. In the Department of Economy, an act, a habit, an institution, a law gives birth not only to an effect, but to a series of effects. Of these effects, the first only is immediate. It manifests its health simultaneously with its cause. It is seen. The others unfold in succession. They are not seen. It is well for us if they are foreseen. In other words, what he's saying is, and again, he's talking about economics, but it applies in a lot of different ways. When particularly the government, but this can also happen with a mass popular movement like Me Too, which is what we're talking about here actually, it does something. It creates an act, a habit, or a law with an idea to accomplish a particular thing. So it'll pass that law or create this hashtag Me Too movement, which Bastiat might call a habit or even an institution in a way. You will see an immediate effect, right? An immediate effect of the Me Too movement, and it's actually sort of both cause and effect, is a bunch of famous men in high places, largely but not only in the world of media, losing their jobs and careers, and some going to jail over sexual harassment and rape. Okay, so you see all that. But what is it that you don't see that happens after that? This is what Bastiat is talking about. It would be good for us if these other effects, which are not seen and sometimes not ever recognized as effects of the thing that actually caused them, it would be great if we could predict them. Bastiat continues, between a good and a bad economist, this constitutes the whole difference. The one takes into account of the visible effect. The other takes account both of the effects which are seen and also of those which it is necessary to foresee. Now, this difference is enormous. And here's where I really want you to focus, okay? This difference is enormous, says Bastiat. He wrote this in 1848 or 1850. For as it almost always happens that when the immediate consequence is favorable, the ultimate consequences are fatal. And the converse. Hence it follows that the bad economist pursues a small present good, which will be followed by a great evil to come, while the true economist pursues a great good to come at the risk of a small present evil. In fact, it's the same in the science of health, arts, and in that of morals. This gets us right into Me Too, doesn't it? Bastiat writing about this more than 150 years ago? It often happens that the sweeter the first fruit of a habit is, the more bitter are the consequences. And then he goes on to talk about debauchery, idleness, and prodigality. When, therefore, a man absorbed in the effect which is seen has not yet learned to discern those which are not seen, he gives way to fatal habits, not only by inclination, but by calculation. All right, I'll pause there on the Bastiat and get to the reason that I'm talking about this. So first, let me start with the underlying issue when it comes to, hashtag Me Too. These guys, Harvey Weinstein, Matt Lauer, Les Moonves, Bill O'Reilly, Roger Ailes, no longer with us. There's a range of bad behavior there, from sort of inappropriate touching and inappropriate statements to outright rape. I need to include Bill Clinton in that list too, although it seems like the liberal media barely ever want to call him, out on his violations. But anyway, I am very glad that these guys who have been abusing and mistreating and even raping women for so many years, I'm glad that they were found out and punished, and in some cases imprisoned and embarrassed and lost so much. They deserve all of that. And that kind of behavior is absolutely intolerable. Period. And so I'm glad that something happened that caused these guys to be found out. I'm glad that something happened that caused women who had felt afraid to say something. It gave them the courage, perhaps because there's safety in numbers, to come out and say things about these men. I'm glad about all of that. But what happens next? Next, you get into this big conversation across the country and hashtag Me Too, and people making up stories. And then you saw what happened to Brett Kavanaugh and how everybody wants to believe every accuser all the time, even in situations where you know that the accuser has a motivation separate from any personal interaction that may not ever have happened. For example, a radical Democrat to try to make Brett Kavanaugh look bad, or somebody else trying to get their 15 minutes of fame, or somebody else trying to just make someone settle and cough up $10,000 or $100,000 in order to make the problem go away. You have this movement that goes too far and says we are always going to believe the accuser. And then the next step from that, since almost all of the accusers, not all, but almost all, are women, what that movement then goes on to imply, and some state directly, overtly, is men are bad. We're always going to believe the woman. We're never going to believe the man. So where would we go with Bastiat in this? Well, where we go with it is so many guys, so many men in positions of power, or men who've got something to lose, not necessarily the titans of Wall Street or of corporate America, but just even ordinary middle managers or ordinary workers anywhere, are actually starting to buy into Mike Pence's approach to things. Again, maybe not Mike Pence's language, which is a little bit unusual, but Mike Pence talked about how he will never go to, let's say, dinner with a woman other than his wife. Right? Just a one-on-one dinner, I mean. Right? Obviously, he'll go to parties or group things where there are other women. But what he meant was even just a business meeting. Not, as Dana Carvey might say, Read George H.W. Bush. Not gonna do it. Wouldn't be prudent at this juncture. And this is happening all over the country now. All over the country. And this is the thing. It's an unintended consequence of how far the hashtag MeToo movement went, but it's not an unpredictable consequence of it. Anybody who ever read Bastiat, in this particular essay, That Which Is Seen and That Which Is Not Seen, is the one piece of writing that I have recommended on this show more than any other. And you can go read it for free right now. And I recommend that you do. But here from Bloomberg News, here's the headline. Wall Street rule for the hashtag MeToo era, avoid women at all costs. This is boomeranging in a very negative way on women, which actually means it's boomeranging in a negative way on the country. Because there's an endless number of women who have an endless amount of talent that they could bring to bear on whatever the job is that they do or the job that they want to do. And let me go through a little of this Bloomberg article with you, because this is, again, shocking and completely predictable. No more dinners with female colleagues. Don't sit next to them on flights. Book hotel rooms on different floors. Avoid one-on-one meetings. In fact, as a wealth advisor put it, just hiring a woman these days is, quote, an unknown risk. What if she took something he said the wrong way? Across Wall Street, and I promise you that this is not only about Wall Street, but Bloomberg is mostly largely a financial news network. Across Wall Street, men are adopting controversial strategies for the hashtag MeToo era, and in the process, making life even harder for women. Call it the Pence effect. After U.S. Vice President Mike Pence, who said he avoids dining alone with any women other than his wife. In finance, the overarching impact can be, in essence, gender segregation. Interviews with more than 30 senior executives suggest many are spooked by Me Too and struggling to cope. And let me just reemphasize. You talk about senior executives on Wall Street, you're talking about people who can and will be seen as deep pocket targets for either unscrupulous women or unscrupulous lawyers. So, of course, senior Wall Street executives will be some of the most sensitive to this. They quote a former managing director at Morgan Stanley, who's now an independent advisor overseeing more than $1.5 billion. He says, it's creating a sense of walking on eggshells. This is hardly a single industry phenomenon, says Bloomberg, as men across the country check their behavior at work, which is good. Okay? Checking your behavior at work is good to some degree, but you don't want to feel like you can't even talk to a woman at your work, which I think a lot of people feel that way. To protect themselves in the face of what they consider unreasonable political correctness, or to simply do the right thing. The upshot is forceful on Wall Street, where women are scarce in the upper ranks. The industry has also long nurtured a culture that keeps harassment complaints out of the courts and public eye, and so far avoided a mega scandal like the one that engulfed Harvey Weinstein. Now, more than a year into the Me Too movement, Wall Street risks becoming more of a boys' club rather than less of one. And they quote a woman named Karen Elinsky, who I'm trying to get in touch with, but I haven't been able to yet. She's a senior vice president at Wells Fargo and president of the Financial Women's Association. And she says, women are grasping for ideas on how to deal with it because it's affecting our careers. It's a real loss. And of course, you have the potential for backlash the other way. Then if women feel like they are not being hired or not being promoted because of this perfectly reasonable fear, by the way, then they might sue for that as well. And here's a quote from an employment attorney. If men avoid working or traveling with women alone or stop mentoring women for fear of being accused of sexual harassment, those men are going to back out of a sexual harassment complaint and right into a sex discrimination complaint. What a mess. Let me grab a quick call here from Paul in South Denver. Hey, Paul, you're on the show. What's up?
this is also a problem that we haven't faced for our colleges, for our everywhere. Every institution we make favorable to women, whether it's a girls' sports team or whatever, reduces the chances of these supposedly our best blood, whether they're athletes, Olympians, whatever, ever making babies.
It's a good point, too.
I mean, if we're going to try and protect the best we have,
Yep.
part of that ought to be them making children. And if we block that, this is, one more enemy conspiracy that's apparently borne fruit.
You know, and it's a really interesting.
Having 70 and 80% graduating classes all women. The women went to school, among other things, intending to become an MRS.
That's that, and I got to leave it there. I appreciate the call. It's a great point, Paul. Yesterday on Tucker Carlson's show, they were actually debating about whether we should have more immigration into this country, specifically for the reason that Americans aren't having very many babies. It's true, and you add that, Paul, on top of some of the other things we see, like young people these days communicating by text and social media rather than face-to-face conversations, and it all does feed into a very low birth rate by at least by white people in the United States of America. Other birth rates of other groups also declining in the United States of America, but not as much as the birth rate among whites is, although that also tends to happen in any country that gets more prosperous. So we got to be careful not to ascribe it to too many things. I'll tell you what, a little bit later in the show, because I didn't get to it right now, I'm going to play the audio for you of Michelle Obama swearing as she responds to this idea that women can actually have it all, right? The career, the family, the everything. Michelle Obama says it's not true. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later in the show, but I just want you all to be thinking about the Bastiat aspect of Me Too, because it's real and it's hurting people. We'll be right back with Kurt Cambier.
This report is sponsored by Account Temps.
I-70, the trouble spot this morning out in the west end. It's a brand new accident eastbound 70 after Kipling. Several lanes are blocked off. Looks like the right shoulder getting by eastbound 70 after Kipling. Tough drive for you there. Eastbound 70, once you pass I-25, heavy and slow, heading out toward Aurora. There's been a couple of crashes. Still working an accident eastbound 70 at Peoria. That's in the right lane. And the Aurora Drive, an accident slowing up northbound 225 past Mississippi on the right side of the highway. Denver's forecast, partly sunny today with a high near 44. Overnight low of 18. Tomorrow, high of only 32. Right now, 22 degrees. With the traffic and weather, I'm Susan Phelan, 630 KHOW.
When you could use help closing your books and need additional staff, it's time to call Account Temps. They can provide you with bookkeepers and other accounting and finance professionals on a temporary or project basis, and fast. Call today. Account Temps, a Robert Half company.
You know, when you work with American Financing, you will find that they can often close, especially talking about a refinance now, they can often close in as little as 10 days, right? And here's just something I want you to keep in mind. We talk with Kurt Cambier a lot lately about things that you can do at year end. And one of those things is to get as many tax deductions as you can into this year, because as long as tax rates aren't changing, and if you think your income is going to be similar one year to the next, it's generally better to have a tax deduction sooner than later, right? And one thing that is deductible is closing costs on a mortgage. So if you've been thinking about refinancing, you could actually still do it this year with American Financing. You can get it closed this year and take advantage of interest rates that have declined in the last few weeks. So let them help you out. 303-695-7000 or online at AmericanFinancing.net.
NMLS 182334, regulated by the Division of Real Estate.
Do you ever wonder how we're streaming millions of movies on demand or doing our banking from the beach? And how are we watching a live mission from Mars? Smart business minds dreamed these ideas, and Amazon Web Services is how they built them. With the broadest functionality and the most experience, the leading enterprises trust the AWS cloud to build the next big idea. Are you ready to build it? Learn more at awsishow.com.
It's time to join the millions of people using Zoom video conferencing. Turn any size conference room, huddle room, or executive office into a Zoom room with flawless HD video, crystal clear audio, and instant wireless sharing. It'll even work with your existing hardware. Start your meetings with a single touch or use Zoom's new voice command feature. Hey Zoom, start meeting. Huddle happy. Visit zoom.us to set up your free Zoom room trial today. That's zoom.us. Zoom video conferencing.
Sheridan Auto Tech. Good people. And isn't that what you really want in an auto repair shop? So you get what you need when you need it, and you get it done right. Kevin Calkin, the owner, is honorable and will never sell you anything you don't need. He has thousands of loyal customers, been in business more than 20 years. 303-455-7242. Or visit him in 2 convenient locations. In Lakewood on Colfax just west of Wadsworth, or in Aurora on Havana just south of 6th Avenue. Sheridan Auto Tech.
This is Sue Bolts, president of Crest Kitchen and Bath. What started as a small business 65 years ago has grown tremendously, but we've never lost sight of what's important: to make sure that each and every one of our customers is satisfied with our products and our service. We're proud of our legacy and would love to be your one-stop source for all your kitchen and bathroom remodeling needs. Let us create the kitchen or bath that's perfect for you. You'll find us in Wheat Ridge or online at CrestKitchenBath.com. That's CrestKitchenBath.com.
Frank Duran, the real estate man. Whether buying or selling, you can't do better.
We literally work to earn your business every single day. We do not hold you to a long-term contract.
You won't believe the level of service when you list your home.
We send in a cleaning crew and a virtual tour crew right off the top.
He has stats to prove he sells faster and for more money.
We not only sell your home faster and for more money, we back it up.
Frank Duran, the real estate man with RE/MAX Alliance. 303-920-1622.
Skiers and snowboarders, Altera, the creator of the new Icon Ski Pass, has just partnered with Denver-based company Alpine Media Technology. Alpine Media delivers real-time updates on grooming reports, lift line status, and even traffic on I-70 via high-def screens on the chairlift, in gondolas, and inside lodges. Your mountain experience just got upgraded. Inquire about advertising opportunities by emailing radio@alpinemediatech.com. That's radio@alpinemediatech.com.
When you go over to centennialgunclub.com/KHOW, which I hope you'll do this morning, there are a couple key things I want you to look at. So at the top of the page, you will find where you can sign up for our last concealed carry refresher course of this year. It is on Thursday, December 20th, and I'm going to come hang out with you before the class. I'll show up at 5:21, and I will bring donuts. And what's that? 13 donuts? No, there's usually way more than 13 people, so I have to bring like 29 donuts or some other prime number around there. 23 maybe would be good. Actually, last time I bought 2 dozen and I ate one, so there was 23 prime number of donuts. And then it's a 2-hour class. It's only $6.30, and you learn so much. I had a listener go back and take it again. Here's the other thing that you'll find at centennialgunclub.com/KHOW, a discount on what they call their insight training. And I'm going through this myself. It is 3 courses over 3 weekends, but you can spread them out as much as you want. You can take them months apart. The first one teaches you accuracy. The second one teaches you speed. The third one teaches you how to shoot in low light. All of them combined teach you how to defend yourself should you need to. I want you to go sign up for this. Take the first class. We can take the second one together. CentennialGunClub.com/KHOW.
Fox News.